Welcome to The Diamond Mine with David Fuller, a podcast from the Rough Diamond Academy. Okay, everyone, this week I have Michelle Davidson, and Michelle is the owner and operator of Forrest Guesthouse oddly enough, in Forrest. Go figure. And I've asked Michelle along to share her journey through, I suppose, the last year or so since buying this business and everything that's happened along the way. And I think it's an interesting story. So thanks for coming along, Michelle.
No worries.
I got to say, and I've said this off camera, I'm like super jealous. Here I am in this room and you're outside in the beautiful sunshine with that beautiful backdrop.
Yeah, that's not fake. That is real.
That's real. And it's kind of funny, a bit of background. Michelle and I kind of worked together for years at her previous job, whereas I worked there as a consultant, and this is a much better view.
Absolutely.
Hey, with all due respect to the office building that you're in.
Yep.
How's things been?
Yeah, it's been an interesting few months and it's kind of been a bit up and down, but things are starting to look up again, which is great.
Really glad to hear that. Let's, I guess, go back a little bit. So you bought into this business last year, 2019.
Yeah.
After working at a law firm for
14 years.
14 years.
Yeah, 14 years. Yeah.
That's a hell of a change.
Yeah, totally different. I guess I reached that point where I'd kind of reached my limit of where I wanted to go with that business, and but I wasn't sure what else I was going to do. I was very open to returning to study project management, or perhaps even look at mountain bike instructing or something like that. I was pretty open, and I was coming here to ride. So Forrest is known for mountain biking. There's lots of mountain bike trails here. It's one of the best destinations in Victoria for mountain biking. And I was coming to do a training ride here with some friends on the weekend. And my husband Googled the night before, what's available for sale in Forrest? And he found this guest house. And I guess within 24 hours, we decided to bring the kids with us the next day to check it out. And 24 hours later, we put in an offer and just decided to jump.
Well, so you take your time making decisions, is what you get.
I normally take more time than that. I am a fast decision maker, and this was a big one, but it just felt really right.
Yeah, it was calling to you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So whereabouts is Forrest for both the locals and there is an international audience here, so even the locals may not know where Forrest is.
So obviously we're in Australia. We're in the state of Victoria, which is down the south. And Forrest is kind of southwest in Victoria, and it's just inland, about half an hour from the coastline. So the Great Ocean Road is just a stone's throw away. Lots of people know the Great Ocean Road. We're just half an hour from there.
Beautiful. In the Otways.
In the Otways, temperate rainforest. Yeah,
temperate rainforest, gorgeous. Haven't been down there for a while, but beautiful part of the world, as we can all see. So you officially began in the business
1st of July.
1st of July.
Yeah.
And transition period, adjusting to a new business. How was that?
Yeah, it was kind of full on at the start. Obviously had no experience in running a guest house. I'd done a one-day course in how to run a B&B, and I had done a lot of research. And so, yeah, the first month we blocked out so no one could come and stay, and we had friends and family come and stay so we could practice on them.
Great idea.
Get all the bugs out of the system, work out what we were doing with food, and even just getting faster at things like cleaning, because the first time I tried to make a bed so that it looked professional, it took me 40 minutes. There was a whole new sheet system. Who knew? It's called the 3-sheet system.
Tell me about the 3-sheet system. I'm intrigued.
So you have 3 flat sheets. You put the first one on.
Yeah.
Then you put the second one on. Then you put the doona. And then you do a little folding trick at the top. And then you put the third one on. The idea is that your body never touches the doona, and you don't have to put the doona in and out of a cover every time when you have to wash it.
Okay.
So you take all the sheets off and chuck them in the wash and then go again. but I can do a bed in about 6 minutes now.
Awesome. Practice makes perfect.
That's right.
There you go. Ah, well, there you go. I grew up with the hospital corners and stuff like that. My mum was a
Yes,
nurse.
I do hospital corners. Absolutely.
I was taught to make a bed. I've never done the 3 sheet thing. That's
I think that's hospitality industry only.
that's a new one. So, what sort of what other challenges did you face when you first came in? So, you did the month of prep with family and friends, and that I take it they gave you the tick of approval, and you started getting.
They were very kind. No ugly reviews online from them.
Excellent.
Yeah, look, I had to get my website up and going. We totally revamped the website, which you were instrumental in helping set up. And it looks great. We rebranded because I thought that was important to show that we had a change of owners to anyone who was familiar with the business, just in case, so they were aware it might be a bit different from what it was before. We don't cook breakfast for people like they did previously, so I kind of wanted to signify that there was a change. Obviously had to start using social media for marketing a lot more than we ever did in the law firm. It's quite different. I mean, totally different businesses, law firms, how you market them, and something which is fun like a holiday, that's a lot easier to market.
And with such an incredible, backdrop and bushland to photograph, and the trails and the bikes and all the stuff around, you've got some nice imagery to use.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like my methodology behind my social media is actually just do things that I enjoy and things that I find beautiful, and then take photographs and videos of it and share that, and people love it.
Awesome. What an absolutely perfect strategy. I mean, and it's authentic because you bought the place because you love to mountain bike ride.
Yeah, and I love this area. I grew up holidaying down here. I've been through all the waterfalls. I've done all the hikes around here, or a lot of them, and so it's a genuine love to be able to share that with people and go, yeah, I love going to that waterfall. This is what you should do for the day. Don't miss out on this because this is the best part. And
you get pretty good engagement.
Yeah, people love that. Like, especially international guests, they come here and they go, what should I do? And I go, okay. What do you like?
Well, okay, just for all our listeners, what's close, what's around, and what are some of the big attractions that aren't too far from you, as well as the local bike tracks and stuff.
Yeah. So obviously we're known for mountain biking, but there's so much more here than that. I think one of the most unique things we have here is a local platypus colony, which there's a company called Otway Eco Tours, and they do kayak tours of Lake Elizabeth about 10 minutes away. They have a success rate for sighting platypus of 99.95%.
Notoriously shy creature.
Notoriously shy, and it's the whole experience of that tour is amazing. So you have to hike in. It's about 4 k's, I think, into the lake, and then you get in kayaks, which are strapped together with your guide, and then you'll spend the next hour and a half just floating gently around this beautiful lake. Following platypus as they come up to the surface and duck back down and then come back up. It's magical. And you do it at dawn and dusk, so there's also the beautiful light and
beautiful.
I mean, that's an amazing thing around here. We've got waterfalls galore. I've not counted, but there's more than 50, I would say, within 2-hour drive of here.
Seen a few of them.
Yeah.
Not that many.
Yeah, there's a lot, and some of them don't have trails as such to them, but you can get there.
The best one.
There's a beautiful forest of Californian redwoods, which Instagram worthy, 100%. People flock to the one near Melbourne, but this is, I think, even more beautiful. So that's a gorgeous place. Then we've got lots of fun adventure things. You can hire mountain bikes. You can do high ropes courses through the rainforest, like trees adventure kind of stuff. You're half an hour to the beach if you love surfing or just walking along the beach. We're kind of in the middle of everything here. And there's also like foodie trails. So the Otway Harvest Trail has about 70 businesses across our region, where you can meet the makers of the produce, you can meet the winemakers, you can meet the distillers, you can meet the people that grow potatoes.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, there's so many things. there's a chocolate cafe just down the road who do great coffee, but I never end up buying coffee because their hot chocolate is amazing.
Well, listen. Well, I need to know if I'm coming down. I need to know where the good coffee is, because I have been disappointed in the past.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm a coffee snob, as anyone who knows me knows.
yeah,
like coffee, but I'm sure it's good.
yeah.
Hot chocolate's fine, but I'm not a big hot chocolate fan. The girls would like it, but
Yeah, so you could hit up the brewery, you could hit up the general store, or you can hit up Platypus for coffee. But as I said, I almost never get to the coffee there.
So the breweries, local breweries, like beers, ciders, gin.
Our local brewery is beer. So they, I don't know, probably 10 types of beer. They have a standard run that they have all the time, and then they like to do specialty seasonal beers. So in summer you might get something like a cherry wit beer, or like a pale ale with a fruity flavour. They like distilling different things and experimenting, which you can do with a microbrewery. I think that's the really fun thing. And then you can go there and do a tasting paddle, and they give you like 10 little tiny shot glasses of each beer, and you can taste your way around the flavors.
I do love microbreweries, and I remember hearing years ago a beer and wine writer being interviewed, and he'd say, people would say to me, I don't like beer. He'd say, you just haven't found your beer yet. Because there's so many varieties, and the microbreweries are great.
I typically, if I was going to drink beer, I'd drink something quite pale, historically. But I did a tasting paddle with my old boss from the law firm. And so you start with the light beer and you head all the way around to the dark. And when you drink it in that order, it kind of prepares you. And then by the time you get to the dark, you're actually like, I like this now.
So I'm definitely anything from golden up is really my type of beer. I like a dark. So
yeah, well, there's some stouts and some things you'll have to come and try when you come visit.
Like porters and black beers and things like that. Stout as well, but yeah, okay. Well, you've won me. So we're doing a little bit of a tourism ad here. I'm trying to get everyone to come. So you've had some other challenges. So 2019, you start the business. You learn how to make a bed, which is awesome. Get that stuff going. You start building on social media. And at the beginning of 2020, we have bushfires.
Yeah, so it kind of really started, I guess, in November, the issue of people feeling nervous about bushfires, because there was a lot and they just kept coming, and people kept saying, this is too early for the bushfire season. And so we kind of were feeling, there was a lot of nervousness with people coming to our location. We're in the middle of the bush, so we try to handle that as best as we could. We would tell them what our bushfire policy was. If a day was a particular rating, we might ask you to leave for your own safety. But we kept communicating with guests regularly. We did lose a few bookings over that, people who just felt like an extreme day was just too high for them and they wanted to stay home. And we felt it was good business to refund all of those, and not, stand by our refund policy that said we didn't have to. But yeah, so we lost out some business there, and we were just starting to pick up again in January, February. People were starting to come back. And then in January, my linen lady, I remember she came and she was like, all of the accommodation down the Great Ocean Road has lost all of their forward bookings overnight. And I was like, why? And she's like, coronavirus. And I was like, what is that? I hadn't heard of it, but the Great Ocean Road relies heavily on Chinese tourists. And so they had already begun to shut down overseas, and they had started cancelling all their forward bookings. And I thought to myself at that stage, that's all right. We probably won't be affected by that because that's not a large part of our customer base. We tend to have, internationals tend to come from Europe for us. So I thought naively, that's probably not going to affect me too much. It's sad for them, but I'm glad I'm not down there. And, within 3 weeks, it was very apparent that was very naive. 30% of our business comes from the Netherlands, and they were shutting their borders and retrieving their guests. So
from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah, we've got a couple of Dutch travel agencies that send all their guests, when they send them on Australian tours, they send them through here.
God bless the Dutch.
I love it because I have Dutch background.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, there you go.
But obviously I've lost all of those forward bookings myself now for those. We can't really predict. I've still got some into next year, so they book up to 2 years in advance. So I've still got some of those really far away ones, but all the immediate ones are gone.
And then, of course, we had travel restrictions imposed by the government, and
and that was the end of that.
If you wanted to.
Yeah, we actually closed a little bit ahead of those restrictions. Forrest is a very small town. There's only about 200 permanent residents, and we have quite a number of elderly people that live here. And so I felt quite strongly that our business is a draw card. Our business is bringing people from outside into our community, and potentially they could be bringing COVID-19 with them. So I felt very strongly quite early on that we had a duty to close even before the government said we should. And then a week later, the government called it quits anyway. So I think that was the right move. Our shire has not had a single case this whole time. And I think that's because we all took it quite seriously, and we're quite disconnected from everybody. We're in a nice little pocket here. And so we were quite protected in this little space. It was a lovely space to be when in lockdown.
Oh, absolutely. Like I say, I'm just a little jealous because I've been stuck here for 10 weeks. I haven't left this room, not once.
Yeah.
Not quite, but look, it's not. I guess there's worse places to be stuck in isolation because the draw of the place is isolation in many ways, isn't it?
Correct. And when you were told not to travel for exercise, well, I don't need to travel for exercise. I can go out my front door and ride my mountain bike.
Yeah, lucky you. My mountain bike is literally the other side of that wall, and it hasn't been used for a while, but don't tell anyone.
Oh, it needs some love, Dave. It misses you.
It does.
You should bring it
here. It needs a service before it gets to come down there, but yeah, I might do that. I think that'd be fun.
Get it serviced and we'll go for a ride. I'll be kind, I promise.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'll kick my butt. That's what you'll do.
I'm happy to ride with beginners. It's all good.
Yeah, nice to know. Bless you. So you're allowed to take bookings now?
Yes. So as of the 1st of June, the government said tourist accommodation was allowed to open. We're opening on the 4th, and I've got a booking for that night. And then that weekend, I'm almost fully booked already. It's the long weekend.
Wonderful. That's great news.
Yeah, fantastic timing.
But I still encourage everyone listening to this to make a booking. Go there and
you can book up to a year in advance. Just book it in. Have something to look forward to.
So how many rooms do you have?
So I've got 4 suites, and I can sleep 12 people in those suites. So the first 2 you can sleep 2, and the last 2 you can sleep 4.
So you can fit a family in.
Yeah. We've made the larger suites what we call our family suites. So they can either have a king bed or twin singles, and then there's 2 additional single beds in a sofa trundle combo.
Okay, excellent. Do you have a minimum stay requirement or?
For most of the year, we don't. We're one of the only ones in the area that doesn't have a minimum stay, but over peak periods we do, because it can just be too hectic for us if we're changing 4 suites every day back to back. I can't do it.
Fair enough. Did you get, through all this, did you get assistance?
Yeah, so as a sole trader, I was able to access the JobKeeper program because I had employed a casual cleaner for a period of time. So that was amazing. That really took the pressure off. Before that was announced, I was really quite down in the dumps.
Yeah, I think we all were.
Oh, it was just so depressing thinking, I don't have a job. I don't have a job. I'm not getting paid. How are we going to pay our mortgage? My husband has his own business, which is separate to mine, a bookkeeping business, Kingsley's Bookkeeping. And we were polar opposites. He has been flat out helping all of his clients and their employers and employees to navigate this time. And I've been dead quiet. So it was quite odd.
Well, at least you had something, I guess.
Yeah. it was a lesson in like it's good to be diverse in your income streams. If we'd both been in tourism, we both would have tanked, and maybe there'll be a time when he tanks and tourism is still going fine.
Okay, well, that brings me, I guess, to a point. What lessons has this brought to you as a relatively new business owner in accommodation?
Yeah, well, what I've learned is the community is really, really important. I mean, I knew that already, but it just crystallizes it for you when you can commiserate with other business owners near you, and you can support each other. Like we had some great little initiatives that went on here in town, which helped us all get through. Little things like having Forrest Got Talent online show instead of an in-person show. People from the town all submitted their little videos, and we all watched them live stream together. And you wouldn't think it, but it was still a really community feeling event. Even though everybody was at home, we're all sending messages to each other and having a laugh, and that was really great. We have community lunches here on Thursday that are run and cooked by volunteers here. And, you know, we've donated spinach and rhubarb out of our garden, and different people have donated whatever produce their garden has. We all get together, and then, you know, we can't eat together, but we can dish it up, serve it out. And, you know, things like that have been really...
That started with COVID?
Well, no, it already existed, but it continued on, and it became a more important thing. And actually more people than ever started buying the community lunch, which is fascinating. I think because we didn't need connection as much before, we didn't reach out to connect. But suddenly when we're all here and we can't leave and we can't go to someone's house, a simple thing like that community lunch where you could all put in your $5 if you could afford it to get a meal that you could all be eating the same thing. There was something really good about that. It was just,
spirit.
Yeah.
So I guess as a businessman, I see that also as a great networking opportunity going
absolutely.
Connection of the businesses.
I think all the businesses here have to work really hard to work together and cross promote. And, you know, it's not about being competitive with each other. It's actually about presenting the town to the public as a whole as a really quality offering. And that takes all of us. It's not just one draw card that brings people to this town. It's that they can come here and they know they're going to get good food at the brewery, good food at the general store, good food at Platypus. They know that there's quality accommodation around, and it's about, promoting that as a collective for the greater good of the town.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And are there other accommodation or guest houses in the area? I presume there are.
There's a lot of little holiday rentals. There's probably, I'm not sure whether there's any as large as ours, but there's a couple of really cool, quirky ones in town. There's one called the Steam Carriages, which is a converted train carriage, and it's in like a steampunk style. And so there's a little church down the road that you can hire. It's a fun place to stay. And, you know, if we fill up all of those, that's fantastic for the town.
So on your social media, are you taking people through some of this stuff as well, or will you when you can?
Yeah, so I tend to be focused on experiences. So I think experiences are probably the most powerful thing you could sell in tourism. I think so I tend to focus on like, okay, well, what walks can you do around here? And I'll go do the walk and I'll photograph different parts and I'll tell you about the walk. I'll give you directions to the walk. I make up books, pages that go in the guest information folder that are all branded from us, that you can scan a little QR code and it will load the directions to that walk onto your phone for you. Just try to make it really easy to go enjoy and experience that for yourself. I like focusing on the little things that you see. So you go on the walk and you see all these different little fungi or interesting birds. I think getting people to slow down and just look at things and take in the moment and, you know, really just let all those other thoughts fall away. I think that kind of experience is really powerful. And so that's what I tend to focus on in social media. I'll wander around my garden some days and I'll just be like, look at the light, look at the leaves, and put photos of them, because that's what makes me feel happy when I'm walking around my garden. And like, you can experience that too. You can come here and you can see all these things for yourself. So that's kind of how I look at social media. But I also, if I go do something, so when I did the platypus tour, if I go get a deconstructed hot chocolate from Platypi, if I do a tasting paddle at the brewery, I'll also photograph that and I'll write about that, because I want people to come and experience everything that's here. That's what's going to give people the best experience, and that's what's going to keep them coming back.
Have you done the live stream experience yet?
No.
Been avoiding it. It's all right. I understand that.
Yeah, look, it's something I toy with occasionally. I know that my GoPro, for example, can live stream.
Yeah, cool. On the bike.
I also know that I'll probably crash my bike when that happens.
Well, an authentic experience.
That'll be some good video.
Probably swear and curse as you're going along. Well, that's probably would be me.
Yeah. Oh, there might be an occasional word that sneaks out. I'm not perfect.
That would be an awesome experience. I challenge you.
Oh, okay. Challenge. Yeah. I mean, today's a beautiful day. Maybe we should do it today.
Take people along for the ride. Literally, why not? Let them experience what you're experiencing in the real. I say this, and I should do more myself. So challenge as much for me as anyone else. But it is such, I think, a golden opportunity to take people right into it. Why not? You go on the platypus adventure and you stream it with your GoPro or whatever. Take them there.
All right, yeah. You take
them there so that they'll come there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so going forward, you're getting bookings. You can book up to a year in advance. What are your hopes or plans for the place from here? Just to get back on your feet, or have you got anything else?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think I'm thinking a lot about sustainability long term for me, and it's been interesting. So we've now implemented a policy that means you can't do a back-to-back booking in the same suite. So you can't have someone check out at 10 a.m. and then someone check in at 2 on the same day, because it just doesn't give me enough time to do the in-depth cleaning that is now required. But as soon as I did that, I thought, goodness, if I actually did that all the time, yes, I wouldn't make as much money, but you know what? I'd be a lot less stressed, because it's stressful. If you've got to turn over 3 or 4 rooms in a 4-hour period, that's full on. And if you have to do that day after day after day, it's exhausting. And I kind of think, well, maybe I miss out on a bit more income. And actually, that's my policy going forwards forever, just so that I could do this for, 20 years rather than do it for 5 years, burn out, and then be done.
I think that's brilliant. So longevity, I mean, and you're there for the experience as well. That's why
I don't want to end up hating this. I came here because I love this area and I want to enjoy it. And if I am flat out, I get less time to enjoy where I'm living. So that's definitely something I'm thinking about. I also have aspirations to be a mountain bike instructor. So I had a crack last year at quite a high level, internationally recognized qualification, and I kind of didn't know how hard it was going to be when I went into it. And on day one, I cried at the end of it. I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna pass. I know that already. And this is so much more intense than I thought it would be, and I was just completely underprepared for it. And I kind of sucked. I didn't pass it. I passed the guiding part of it. I can do theory. I understand how to teach it, but my skill level wasn't quite there yet. And I sucked about that for months. And I mean, reality check. But when lockdown started, I thought, well, do you know what? You could have 6 quiet months here, and you could give it a really good crack, like really try and ramp up your fitness and work on your skills. and try for it again at the end of the year. And, if I don't make it at that point, maybe I just don't actually have what it takes, and that's okay. But I'm never going to have a better opportunity than now to really throw a lot of time and energy at it and see if I can do it. So that's kind of something that I'm hoping to pull off by the end of the year. We'll see.
I believe in you. I know you can do it. I've worked with you for years. You're a very resourceful girl. I know. Well, I think it's fantastic. There's really 0 point coming out of this without some skills, right? I mean, there's always an after, right? So you're planning to have something, and even if you don't pass it, I'm sure you will, you still gain from the experience.
Yeah, even if I don't, there's actually other qualifications I could get that are Australian based, and I know I could pass them today. It's just that I've been taught by it's called PMBIA. I've been taught by a PMBIA instructor, and it's just next level. Like the way they teach, their methodology, it's brilliant, and it's really effective. And so that's what I want to be. That's what I hope for. And so you don't know where that's going to lead. Like I think I could imagine having mountain bike tours as part of my offering, or lessons or a skills weekend, or like it would open up a lot of possibilities for me if I can pull it off. So
absolutely brilliant. So this is where I was going to lead with that. So going future, you guided tours is not part of what you offer now. People can go to the trails, but on their own. So you're thinking that there's an opportunity to take people through it.
Yeah, I think particularly if I had bikes available for international guests, that's like the ideal scenario, because they're probably a bit nervous about heading off into the bush on their own in a place they don't know. They might not have phones that work out here in the bush if they've come from these. So I think there's a lot of comfort in going with someone who knows what they're doing, and they're professional and they're going to look after you. Yeah. I think that could be a great experience. So I'd like to offer that at some point, but I'm also careful of not biting off more than I can chew in one hit, and not trying to do everything at once while it's still my first year.
Well, that's true, but you're planning. That's good. So you do warn everyone about the drop bears, though, right?
No, do you know what we have here? We don't have drop bears. We have the black panther of the Otways.
Oh, right, that mysterious cat that occasionally pops up.
Yeah,
close to you.
I look, it's going to sound hilarious, but I sighted something myself when I was a teenager here on holidays, and we all stood there as a family looking across. We're walking on the cliff down Marengo, and we looked across this empty paddock, and there was a line of, ferns off in the distance, and we saw a cat-shaped thing that just looked much bigger than an ordinary cat, and we all stood there and watched it, not really sure what we were watching. I still don't know. I've Googled it since, and there are so many. It's
never let facts get in the way of a good story, Michelle. That's the rule. But there you go, the Black Panther tour.
The Black Panther. Yeah.
Well, who knows? I don't know. I've got no idea, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Can't explain it. And I would normally laugh at these things, but I've seen something that I can't explain. It's probably just a really big wild cat.
Could be a big feral cat, but who knows?
Eating all the native birds.
And the drop bears, yeah. Which is a joke, everyone, in case you don't know. I know for our international guests, there are no... I shouldn't tell them that, should I?
No. There's drop bears.
There's drop bears. We'll keep running with it. That's all good. Oh, dear. Well, that's fantastic. So the 4th of June... 4th of June you're opening. You're taking bookings, so I encourage everyone to go have a look. We'll put the link to your site and your socials in the show notes. In fact, by the time this goes live, it'll be close to the 4th of June anyway, just before. But so go along, have a look, and I think it's awesome. I think it's brilliant that you've come through this far with all the challenges so far, and I don't know. I think my word in business, the thing that I really resonate with in business, is the word resilience.
Yeah.
It's a big word for me in terms of, I've been 21 years in business, and there's ups and downs. And I think that ability to get through and tough out those tough times and come through with more skills than you went in is a key thing. That resilience builds resilience. So well done you. And I'm looking forward to, I was just having this other thought before. If you're going for this what do you call, sorry, this the qualification, that's what, there's the word I'm looking for. Why don't you take people on that journey?
Yeah, so that's funny you say that.
Whether you get it or not.
Yeah. So I've written myself a little training plan because there's 3 kind of main skills that I need to really perfect. And I've written out a training schedule for the next 6 months, and kind of there's a month for each of those skills. It's just practicing. And so I guess it's that scary thing about accountability, right? Like if you say it out loud, then you have to do it. Yeah. There you go. You wanted to hear birds?
Kookaburra, beautiful. Isn't that amazing?
No point in trying to talk over that. They're so funny. We get them. So they go off every evening at dusk. And so you kind of always know what time it is, but it's a few minutes earlier each day at the moment. But yeah, so part of me kind of goes, you know, it'd be good to show me at the start what I can't do with that skill, and then make a video kind of the different stages of me learning that skill, and then have the skill at the end be like, hey, look what I did in a month. That'd be cool. We'll see if I'm brave enough.
I know you are.
Yeah.
That's my role, isn't it? To keep you accountable. And
that's right. I do usually respond to challenge. So, you know, having had this conversation, I'll probably end up doing it.
The whole world knows now, so you may as well get on with it. It's on YouTube. You've got that. Yeah. All right, my friend. I'm thrilled that things are looking a little bit brighter, and it's so beautiful. I look forward to getting down there myself at some stage, and we've been talking about it for a little while. But best of luck. I'm looking forward to the journey out on the trails as well, to see how you go there.
It's gonna be funny.
It's great. All right, we will talk soon. Thank you for your time, and I encourage everyone. Forrest Guesthouse. The link will be in the show notes. Come and have a look at what is truly a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And, Michelle will look after you.
I will. Thanks, Dave.
Good on you. You take care.
You too. Bye.